People who have bipolar disorder can have periods in which they feel overly happy and energized, and periods of feeling very sad, hopeless, and sluggish. In between those periods, they usually feel normal. You can think of the highs and lows as two poles of mood, which is why it's called bipolar disorder. This is Lee Morgan. Welcome to Spotlight on Mental Health. Today, Dr. Morgan and I are going to talk to you about bipolar. Welcome, Dr. Morgan.
Thank you, Lee. I'm going to be talking about a client, Tom, that I've been working with for about 2 years. Tom came to me with a diagnosis of bipolar 2. In his first semester of college, he broke down through the process of having a manic attack, very little sleep, a lot of activities, spending a lot of money, thinking he can solve the world's problems, a lot of energy and activity, along with depression. And you need a diagnosis of a manic attack in order to be classified as having bipolar. So he came at that age of 19, and we've been working ever since.
Let's take a look at a report from Dr. Needham Odell, a practicing psychiatrist from Rockville Center, New York.
Bipolar disorder is a complex mood illness comprising several diverse types, each distinguished by the pattern, frequency, duration, and intensity of a person's symptoms.
Also known as manic depression, bipolar disorder is characterized by extreme moods that swing between poles of mania and depression. These episodes may range from mild to severe, depending on the disorder type: bipolar 1, bipolar 2, rapid cycling, mixed bipolar, or cyclothymia. All bipolar types experience manic or hypomanic and depressive episodes to varying degrees. Mania is typified by sudden euphoria or rage, hyperactivity, inflated self-esteem, racing thoughts, decreased need for sleep, and preoccupation with irrelevant matters. Mania may also include reckless behavior like extravagant shopping sprees, risky sexual activity, or foolish investments. Hypomania is a mild form of mania, characterized by hyperactivity and euphoria. The depression side of bipolar disorder mirrors the symptoms of major depression: persistent sadness and fatigue, loss of interest in activities, changes in sleeping and eating patterns, difficulty concentrating, feelings of hopelessness and worthlessness, and thoughts of death or suicide. Of the various bipolar types, the most severe is bipolar 1 disorder. Those who have this type may experience manic episodes that begin suddenly and last for an average of 4 months. Depressive episodes may last even longer, persisting approximately 6 months, but rarely for longer than a year. Bipolar 1 sufferers may require hospitalization either because a manic episode is out of control or depression is so severe that the risk of suicide is high. The presence of mixed episodes, which combine manic and depressive symptoms, may further heighten the suicide risk. Bipolar 2 disorder is considered a milder form of bipolar disorder and is the most common. Bipolar 2 disorder sufferers typically experience less intense hypomanic episodes of euphoric or irritable mood, followed by depressive episodes, which are often experienced with greater intensity. Hypomania may appear as simply an outgoing personality, in some making diagnosis difficult, while others may experience it as a negative state that causes severe agitation and difficulty concentrating. Without treatment, hypomanic episodes may escalate to full mania. Rapid cycling bipolar disorder is characterized by alternating episodes of mania and depression within a short period of time. The periods of depression tend to be predominant, interspersed with briefer periods of abnormally elevated manic or hypomanic mood instability. Studies suggest that 10 to 20% of people with bipolar disorder develop the rapid cycling pattern typically later into the illness. While virtually anyone can develop rapid cycling bipolar disorder, it occurs more frequently in women than men. With mixed bipolar disorder, the highs and lows of the illness typically occur simultaneously in rapid succession as either dysphoric mania, which is a manic episode with unpleasant or depressed mood, or agitated depression, which is a depressive episode with mania symptoms such as anger and irritability. Hospitalization may occur for mixed episodes as they may be accompanied by psychotic symptoms including hallucinations or delusional behavior. It's estimated that 20 to 70% of bipolar disorder sufferers experience mixed episodes, particularly when the illness begins during adolescence. Cyclothymia is a milder form of bipolar disorder with highs and lows characterized by hypomania and mild to moderate depression. Those with cyclothymia typically stay connected to reality. If you think you may have a type of bipolar disorder, consult a mental health professional.
Tell us a little bit about the treatment goals for Tom.
Most everyone that comes into my office with a mental illness, Tom included, is to help them become empowered. When you lose your mind, you lose control of your mind, it really affects your self-esteem terribly. And that's what happened to Tom. And so I help empower people by using assertiveness training, which helps in changing their thinking patterns. They know what rights they have as a human being, changing some of their belief system, like they have to be perfect or they have to have everyone's love and approval. So that's all part of assertiveness training. The other thing I work with in terms of empowerment is self-esteem, which is so crucial. And I often, and Tom included, to ask people to buy this and do the exercises that are in it. There's a lot of other exercises I used with Tom, but it is an ongoing process of helping him with his self-esteem. In his family system, he was really very, very shamed and treated harshly by his father. And his mother coddled him. And so the two of them needed help with changing the family system. And so that was all part of what harmed his self-esteem. The other treatment goal that is so common for most people is help with attachment issues. People that have mental illness usually suffered in intimacy with parents, shame, abuse, neglect, abandonment, and so therefore they don't trust intimate relationships, and they need to really be working in that sphere. Tom never had a girlfriend. He really didn't have any kind of intimacy. He did have some friends, but the treatment for attachment problems is really the nature of the therapeutic relationship that I have with Tom. That I'm providing a corrective experience, the good enough mother. I didn't coddle him. I'm not harsh with him. So that provides a long-term corrective experience that also helps him learn to trust. And he really has made movement in that sphere, in that he has a girlfriend now that he's spending a lot of time with, and he's so happy. Everyone wants romance, and Tom included, so his attachment issues are improving.
What other resources are available for Tom?
Other resources that were used and so important, family therapy. I tried working with Tom and his family, but I couldn't be there for both of them. I had to be there for Tom, and so they were able to find a family therapist who really was able to make a shift in this family for the first time, that the father became less harsh toward Tom. His mother didn't coddle him as much. The goal was for him to move out of the home, the family home, which he was able to do, which was very scary for him. And he still is afraid of, is he going to be successful in the work world that he's getting ready to join? Other resources psychiatrist that he went to, sometimes weekly, for medication. That was important. Also, you'll be seeing a video later on in the show about bipolar support group. His parents went to a bipolar support group and were thrilled to see that Tom was really doing much better than many of the other children that the parents were talking about. I also was able to finally get Tom himself to go to a bipolar support group, which was very threatening for him, but he really used it as a way to overcome some of his loneliness and finally is going to it. And I was just so happy when he had the progress of being able to do that. That was a big step for him to go to a bipolar support group.
Dr. Morgan, do you have any experience with family members?
Yes, Lee. A man came to me recently named Sam, whose wife is manic depressive. That's the old word for bipolar. His wife has bipolar and was hospitalized for the third time just recently. However, she had to keep getting rehospitalized because she refused to take her medication. Sam had to commit his wife through a legal procedure, which was really very difficult, had to do that. The police had to be involved many times. So it was a really difficult situation with his wife. And he himself made reference to the hospital where she was as one flew over the cuckoo's nest. So he himself was having issues with the stigma of mental illness. Sam needed a lot of support in order to help him get through this difficult time. I had to help him do more nurturing of himself, caring for himself, relaxing, breathing, how he could be dealing with all the stress of his wife, who came home several times but had to be recommitted, rehospitalized, sometimes with the police involved. And so I worked with him also about education with regard to mental illness. He didn't really understand it. I encouraged he and his wife to look up videos, which you've seen and will be seeing here on this program about bipolar. I encouraged both of them to look at videos about bipolar so that they would understand it more. His wife was very angry at him, and he couldn't understand that. And I helped him realize that being very angry and irritable was part of the manic episode that she was having. Also, that perhaps he needed to include her more in what was going on in the home. He was retired and pretty much was doing everything, and she needed to have more of a role in their life. So education, helping him deal with his wife in a better way. He thinks he might need marital issues counseling too. His wife is certainly not ready for that now. We might be doing that in the future, but getting them also, both of them, her to go to a bipolar support group for herself and he going to one for himself would be so beneficial. They still are reacting to the stigma. They've not ever shared with family members or friends that she was hospitalized for mental illness. She was telling people that there was something wrong with her blood. That's why she was in the hospital for so long. And so they really need work with that whole issue of the stigma of mental illness that is still so prevalent. And so we'll be seeing further in this program a show about bipolar support group in this local area that you can get information about and encourage people that you know to join that group. One of the most important issues in mental health, mental illness, is the stigma it still provides for people that have mental illness and their families. The stigma is still very important and still there. And so we're going to be seeing a video about stigma, that even though people have a diagnosis, that's not who they totally are. They really are functioning very well in society as long as they take their medication. And so they're not just their mental illness.
I'm bipolar.
I am bipolar.
I'm bipolar, but I'm not a ticking time bomb.
We're not all depressed.
But I'm not just gonna snap out of it through positive thinking.
I'm bipolar.
Bipolar.
But I'm not unpredictable.
I'm not fragile or delicate.
I'm bipolar,
But I'm not a zombie.
I don't attract chaos.
I don't define myself by an illness.
I'm bipolar, but I'm not a drug addict.
Just because someone is on medication doesn't mean that they are a drug addict.
We all experience emotions.
I'm not off my meds just because I'm emotional.
And I'm not trying to be trendy with my cool mental illness.
But I am not your manic pixie dream girl.
But I'm not looking for attention.
I am not a victim of my emotions.
If you feel like you can't deal with things on your own, it can be as easy as talking to somebody about it.
I promise you that when you speak and ask for help and talk about it, you will realize that you are not the only person dealing with this. I didn't give up.
You are stronger than you think you are.
Self-care is not selfish. You are not alone. I have bipolar disorder, but I'm not weak or using it as a cop-out to not live life. I live life large.
I am a dad, a husband, and a family man.
I am capable of having a long-term relationship. I've had a lot of relationships, like a lot.
I'm bipolar,
And I'm a vegan.
and I'm a cat mom.
Making people laugh and laughing is my favorite thing.
I am an advocate for mental illness and for equality for everyone.
And I'm great with kids. I'm a nanny and a camp counselor, and I rock it.
I'm single.
I am a veteran. I believe in serving people and helping people.
I'm a feminist.
I lead a completely normal life.
I'm a human being. We're all human beings.
I'm human, like you.
I have bipolar disorder, and
I am happy with who I am.
it is so not who I am. It's just a part of who I am. And I'd say that I am pretty happy.
With regard to Sam and his wife, I really tried to teach him about compassion. Compassion for his wife because of her problems that she really couldn't control. It was all biochemical. Her background was a very stark one. Her mother died when she was very young, raised by another family that really wasn't kind to her. So as a result, she didn't have really very many friends at all. He had all the friends of the couplehood that they were in. So compassion is such an important part of mental health. Self-compassion, that I try to get people to say the two sentences, I'm doing the best I can. If I could be doing better, I would be. I have vitamin C drops from CVS, a bowl of them in my office for people to take that reminds them of compassion. And many times when they come in, they take one of those candy, they're really candy, and I often give them one at the end of the session, one for the road. Self-compassion, so important in mental illness.
This organization that deals with bipolar is called Depression and Bipolar Support Alliance. It's a national organization, and there is help for you.
At any given time, about 9.5% of the American population is experiencing a mood disorder. That's about 28.5 million people in any one year. So this is a very serious condition affecting a lot of people. The Depression and Bipolar Support Alliance, or DBSA, is the leading patient-directed organization that supports and provides information for people living with mood disorders. We were founded on a basis of peer support. That is, working with people who, like you, have the experience of a mood disorder. And DBSA has support groups across the country where you can learn from the experience of people and also share your needs, feelings, goals in a regular social environment.
DBSA is a lifeline to me. I was, in treatment, and I was taking my meds, and I was going to cognitive therapy, but I still felt like I was getting the full benefit of my journey towards health. And DBSA provided a lot of the things in the support group that helped me. One of the important things about a support group is that you're with people that have gone through the same problems and issues that you have, and they also have found solutions for themselves.
The impact that the DBSA support groups has on the people that attend is amazing. It's life-changing. You're able to share that with other people, and they have those moments like, oh, that's happened to me. I understand. When I went to my first Depression and Bipolar Support Alliance meeting, I was blown away. To just listen to everyone, exchange experiences, their challenges, their triumphs, gave me so much hope, and I didn't feel as alone.
The Depression and Bipolar Support Alliance was founded about 25 years ago when various groups of people living with these illnesses came together and wanted to create a national network of support. Now we have a much broader mission. Not only do we have the nearly 1,000 support groups across the country and nearly 350 chapters in most states in America, we also have websites designed to educate the public. Those are dbsalliance.org, facingus.org, and dbsalianza.org, our Spanish language website. Facing Us in particular, I think, is regarded as very innovative, well-designed, and something that people really like to visit and be involved with.
The Facing Us Clubhouse definitely is geared towards empowering that individual to become much more proactive in their own wellness. There are a lot of tools and resources out there available online for individuals, but a lot of them are information focused. This is definitely focused on interactivity and inspiration. In 2009, DBSA launched a new tool to facingus.org, and it's the DBSA Wellness Tracker. It incorporates all of the successes of standard tools such as a mood calendar. It incorporates additional benefits such as tracking individual symptoms, but it also tracks other influencing factors, whether or not that's the amount of sleep that you have, level of alcohol intake, whether or not you've had significant life events. And it also keeps track of your medications. So you don't have clinicians looking individually at, this is the mental health component, this is the physical health component. You can have a psychiatrist that's actually looking and saying, here's the other factors that are going on in your life. When you first log on to DBSA Wellness Tracker, you'll see 5 tabs at the top of the page. You're going to see a mood tab. You simply record where you are that day, whether or not you're stable or feeling more depressed or more manic. If you go to the next tab, it's a symptoms tab. There's approximately 15 common symptoms for depression or bipolar disorder, and you can choose which of those symptoms you'd like to track. The lifestyle tab, you're going to see very critical environmental factors that play a role in your mental health. So you're going to see some tracking for the amount of sleep that you might get, alcohol or drug consumption, things such as significant life events, whether or not that's positive or negative. The medication tab allows you to be able to keep track of all of your medications. So you can list out your physical health medications, your mental health medications, and your over-the-counter or supplements. And the last tab is the exercise log, and the exercise log allows you to be able to set specific goals towards improved physical health. When you're ready to run a report, you simply go to the home page and click on the report button. You pick the time frame that you'd like. The system will then generate a PDF of a report for that particular time frame. The reports, first and foremost, are meant to be a wellness tool for yourself, where you can have a quick overview of how you've been over the last month. And then you can also use sections of those reports to bring with you to your clinician.
Frequently, we're going through a depressive episode or a manic episode. We're really not aware of the changes in our moods and our bodies on a day-to-day basis. And the wellness tracker helps us track from a day-to-day basis what our moods are. Seeing that pattern is extremely important, first of all, because you can share it with your professional and they can see how you're dealing with the medications. But it's important to me because it helps me be aware. It helps me plan. It helps me prevent do the things I need to do to prevent that mania from occurring.
I think wellness tools like the wellness tracker and the wellness plan that you find on facingus.org are the kinds of initiatives we'll be doing going forward. We have a whole health philosophy. It takes a combination of factors to deal with depression and bipolar disorder, but if you find the right balance, recovery is absolutely possible.
DBSA changed my life, and I've seen the lives of thousands of people over the past 10 years that have been transformed by being a part of the DBSA support group.
Wherever there are people, mental health is important. Essentially, mental health begins with your relationship with yourself. Then equally crucial, mental health is in the home, where you are teaching and modeling good mental health for your children and significant others. Mental health in the workplace focuses on work-life balance. Tune in each month with Lee and Patricia Morgan on Spotlight on Mental Health, here at Fairfax Public Access. This is Lee Morgan and Dr. Patricia Morgan, and we would like to wish you good mental health. We'll see you next time on Spotlight on Mental Health.